Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Friday Live. My name is Ashley Hay. I'm an artist and also the importer of PowerTex for Australia. I am so excited to be here with you again this week, so welcome. If you are here, please drop a comment in, let me know you're watching. I love to interact with you along the way and know where you're from. So just drop me a little comment saying hello. And if you haven't been on before, please let me know where you're watching from. So, of course, today I have my little seahorse friend here, and we are going to be talking about how I've finished him and also looking at some different stand options. So I'm going to be giving you some more gold today, and so please stay with me, and I will be showing you a few different things and talking about how I've done some of what I've done and how he has changed so substantially from how he was last week to how he is now. So all to be revealed. And for those of you who are familiar with the PowerTex art supplies, you can probably guess how it has been coloured up. So if you think you know, drop that in the comments. Let me know what you think I've done during the week. So I'll hold him up here so you can see him in his entirety. So he is looking really lovely. I am loving the colour, and I will probably work back into him a little bit more. So I'll talk a bit more about that in a minute. Can't reveal too much too quickly. All right, so there he is. The reason I want to hold him up for you is so that you can really get an idea of that colour, because when I go onto the other camera, it is a little bit, you just don't get the same effect with the colour. It was really difficult to light him up. But I'll bring him in there closer to that camera there so that you can see him. I am loving the texture. I'm loving the tone. But like I say, I would probably, lighten up maybe some of these areas that maybe a little bit dark, and just highlight some of the textures and just give it a little bit of contrast in those textures. So that would probably be all I would do. So let's talk about what I have done to him, and we will go to the other camera, but you can see here how beautiful that texture is. So what I have done during the week is I have actually sprayed him with Bista. For those who know me, you know how much I love the Bista from PowerTex Art Supplies. And it comes as a liquid, or it comes as a powder which you mix into a liquid. You can spray it onto your artwork, or you can paint it on, so depending on what you want. What I do love about spraying it on is it gets this beautiful drippy, glossy, really serendipitous feel. So I love the surprise of what the Bista does. And on the Easy 3D Flex, it also creates some really beautiful cracking and gives you some additional texture. So it is just really, really glorious. So yeah, so there you see him. So what I would do is, and it's all about adding and subtracting until you're happy with how the finish is. And so I really encourage you to spend a bit of extra time just looking at your piece once you really love it and you're really happy with it. Spend a little bit of time and analyze, is it where I want it to be? Do I want to make any changes? Is there anything that I need to take away? Is there anything I need to add to the piece that potentially will make it better? And so in this instance, I can weigh up whether I want to wipe some of this Vista back. So what I can do is I can get a damp cloth and a dry cloth, and I can actually wipe some of this Vista off because it will remove with water until it's fixed. So I can actually take some of that back just by rubbing back into it. I do find when I do that, that the Vista kind of dulls and it loses its luster a bit. So you just need to work really, really carefully, and it gets to that point where it is just beautiful, it's just perfect, and you don't want to take it too far. And but if you do, it doesn't matter because you can always fix it by spraying some more Vista and then taking it off again. So, you've just got to try things sometimes, even at risk of, your work going backwards. So, quite often when you are working on a piece and you're really wanting that professional finish, you'll go a few steps forwards, then you'll go backwards, then you'll go forwards again. But generally, hopefully, we are working in the right direction to that resolution and getting a better finish than what we anticipated. So it's all about looking once you've finished and being critical of your own work and sort of going, what do I love about it? Are there areas that I don't love about it so much? And what can I do to bring up those areas a little bit more? All righty, so let's zoom down to the art table. But if you are also watching in replay, please let me know that you are watching. And I'm seeing there's no comments coming through, so whether there's an issue with the Facebook feed, I don't know. But please, if you are watching, thank you for watching. And again, if you're watching in replay as well, drop me a comment. Let me know you're here, and let me know if you love Vista too. Those who know me really well will often call me the Vista Queen, because it's like, oh, what's the solution? Let's get some Vista out. So what I love about what I've done here is I've used the Vista Original, and it is a pre-mixed liquid. It is a beautiful sepia colour, and I knew when I sprayed it that it would make the whole colour sort of cohesive. So it was quite bright, and now it has sort of lost its brightness. So if I wanted to, I could spray other colours in the Vista. I could spray it more lightly, but I love my sepia Vista. And for me, what it's done is it's pulled the whole piece into being more cohesive. It was the vision that I had at the beginning, was that I wanted it to be this sort of subdued colour. So that is a totally subjective choice and decision that you need to make. So let's say I did this and I really wanted to highlight some of the texture again. Like I say, I would just get that damp cloth and a dry cloth and just wipe some of the Vista back on the top of the surface so that the Vista stays in the cracks and in the darker areas, and just create some highlight. I could also dry brush back into it using the pigments. So I could use some matte pigments to dry brush some highlights back onto the mane if I wanted to do that. And also if I wanted to pick up some light on the top of the eyes or some of the texture, I could do that too. I have painted these seaweed leaves with one of our beautiful Colourtrix colours. So the olive green is just really, really lovely in the Colourtrix. And I've used Easy Coat Glossy with that to colour that up. I did paint his eye with the green as well, but I just felt like it wasn't working. I really like the dark eye. And but like I say, I could maybe put a few highlights on the top of his brow ridge, maybe a few highlights on the top of his mane. To do that, I could dry brush back in with power colours, with whatever mixture of colour I want, or I could actually use some bronze gold if I wanted to continue with a little bit of metallic just to give it a little bit of a lift. So there he is. I'm going to go to the other camera now so that you can see how he is looking, and I'll show you a couple of stand options as well. So like I said, you know, he is a little bit darker there, but you get his lovely silhouette that you can see. So this particular stand that I have here is actually a homemade one. So it has a longer post than what I've got available from Powertex. So there are some beautiful stands in Australia that you can purchase online from Powertex Australia that are just really, really gorgeous. So let's check out a few of the stand options. So this is the small base. I'll just move him slightly out of the way there. So this is a small base that is really nice. So the post is around about 10 centimetres high. That's about 10 by 10. We've also then got a medium-sized base, which the posts are just over 20 centimetres high, and the base would be about, I don't know, 20 centimetres long, I guess, and about 10 centimetres wide. And then there is this one, which is actually 30 centimetres, and so that's got the two posts as well, and the posts are a similar height to that medium-sized stand. So it actually, they are available for you to purchase. And what you can do is you can just mount your seahorse on, like I have done, onto here. But you might actually sort of go, oh, I want to make my stand a little bit more interesting so that it's not just a post and a base. So to make your own stand, though, is really simple. You don't have to go and do what we've done on this one. So this one is actually welded, and so we've made that ourselves. And well, Mark's made it for me. Many thanks to him. And but you know, you can simply also take a off-cut block of wood or an old brick and actually get some steel rod and put the steel rod into that and then do up your base. So I've got an example of a base that I have started that I'm going to have a bit of a play with that I'll show you in just a minute. And it is a bit of fun, and I'll show you how that is looking. But you can make your own very, very simply. This is basically some free wood, which if you go to your hardware store in Australia anyway, and ask for some pallet gluts, that's what this essentially is. And you can see that that's got a couple of pre-drilled holes ready to pop the posts in. Of course, here in Australia, we have beautiful woods, and so you could do something a bit more special where you actually use a wooden burl as your base, which obviously would look really superb once you, you know, varnish or resin that up. It's just going to look really, really gorgeous. So you do have to bear in mind the weight of your sculpture. So this one that I've done here is actually quite heavy because it's got a lot of 3D flex on it. So this stand here wouldn't actually be big enough for him. But if I made a slightly wider base, or even a heavier base with the same footprint, then that would be substantial enough to actually, you know, hold him up. And it would be really, really, really lovely. So you can see how, you know, that natural base would just be really, really gorgeous. Okay, so let's take a look at a base that I've started playing with. I'll just move him out of the way and bring this one forward. So this is actually a one of these blocks, and it had a post in here. And if I was doing it again, I would actually have a longer post so that I only bring the coral up to a particular height, and then the post actually extends out a bit more, and I can actually, you know, pop the seahorse onto that. So this one, I had the idea that I would just put some wire into the seahorse and then some wire into the top of the stand here, which I think will work if it's not too heavy. So you just need to think implicationally through these things, and you know, how you want it to actually sit. So I'm going to do another seahorse in a different way, and this will be the stand for another seahorse, which I will do a little bit differently. So one of the things that I will say is this actually annoys me because it's so similar to the size of this piece. When I had it, I actually had it sitting up here, and somehow when I attached it on, I've put it down too low. So what I'm going to have to do now, because I can't live with it, is I'm just going to have to extend another piece out here, so that this isn't so much the same, and it's got this very regular V shape in there. So of course I could sit my seahorse in a different way if I wished, but you know, I prefer it sitting up like that. I really like that. And I've got another couple of corally bits that I've actually made that I can pop onto the stand. And of course you want to think three-dimensionally, so that would go around there. And so when you turn your sculpture around, you've got that beautiful three-dimension and that three-dimensional finish. So that's something I had to play with. I'm still to colour this up and finish it, but I thought what I would do is I would get the next seahorse going, and I actually am thinking that I'll probably do some reeds up here as well. So that should look really nice, and then the seahorse will kind of disappear a little bit behind the reeds. I did think it would be really nice if I could do it so that I could take the seahorse off. So I will consider that and make a decision around that as I work on it. But I'd say I'll probably fix him on there because, you know, what's the purpose of taking him off really? You know, so once you actually have it in place. All right, so just going back to so that's that. I am going to do another couple of versions of some seahorses because I've got a few different ideas that I want to try in terms of surface finish. And as well as that, I'm obviously going to have a play with a few more oceanic creatures that I have seen while I've been snorkeling in beautiful Coral Bay. But like I said to you, I think the other week, I said that with the seahorses, I've actually seen those locally here in Rockingham, and they were hanging upside down on like a rope, and there were 3 of them sort of in a row. So I might have a play of that with that memory and how how that looked. But generally you'll find, you know, your seahorses go through the water like this. So to have a little bit of movement in terms of how you mount them onto the stand is really, really, really lovely. So have a think about your stand as being part of the artwork, not just a post like I've mounted the other one on there as. But, you know, actually think of your base as a bit of an artwork or an extension of what you've done. So I could actually extend this base out so that it has that really corally feel. The other thing that I could use, which would be more organic on the base, would be a rock. So, you know, like say a limestone rock, which is really, really easy to drill into, and then put a post in the limestone rock, and then you've got that organic shape already, and then you can add some more corally bits into that rock. And of course it's beautiful and heavy, so perfect for the garden. And of course, when you're working with Powertex, one of the wonderful things is that you can put your artwork outside once you have finished. So just on that note, if you have used Vista, and like I said before, the Vista is going to wash away. I'll just move some of these bits and pieces out of the way. So this one is finished with Vista. And so that Vista needs to be fixed once I've got it to the point that it actually is how I want it to look. So what I need to do is, like I was saying before, is wipe that back until I'm really, really happy with how the texture is looking, the contrast, the light and the dark. And then I can, once I've done that, I can actually use Powder Fix. So Powder Fix is, I'll hold it up here. Oh no, that's blowing out a bit over here. So there we go. So that's Powder Fix, and it comes as a powder form, and you can get it in these small containers or you can get it in a large container. But when you mix it up, so I think it's got the instructions on here. Add 5 grams of Powder Fix to 100 mils of boiled chilled water, and then use it as a sprayable varnish. So it is fantastic for fixing the Vista because I can spray this on, and it actually will fix the Vista in place so that then it does not run. So that, or come off again. So there we have it, a little bit of seahorse fun. And I hope that you've enjoyed today. I will answer any questions or comments in the chat because, as I say, for some reason, they haven't come through for me today. But if you are watching, please drop a comment. Let me know what you've been making this week as well, what you've been having fun with. And my hope and the whole reason that I am here is to inspire you to create this weekend and have a play with some Powertex art supplies to create some incredible textural effects in your artwork. So this is the thing that I love, love, love about Powertex, is the textural effects that you can actually get, and the serendipity and the surprise of some of the surfaces that happens when you work experimentally and exploratory and you really allow yourself to play with the medium. Some of the things that happen are really, really surprising and very, very beautiful. And of course, that then increases your visual language, and you can draw on that knowledge of how you got a certain effect, and then you can kind of pre-plan and anticipate what will happen, which is what has actually happened with my seahorse. So I knew that the red color and the yellow would actually all toned down once I sprayed it with the Vista. Mariana, thank you for watching. Oh my goodness. She's just saying they're in the middle of Cyclone Albert over there. I hope everyone who is in Brisbane and in Queensland as it's hitting coast that you're all staying safe, and thanks for jumping on, Mariana. So that is lovely. So yeah, stay safe over there, and hopefully it doesn't affect you too badly. Thinking also of Natalie at Bag End Studio, and hopefully there is no repercussions of the winds and the rains over there for too many people. Alrighty, thank you so much for watching, everyone. And I hope you enjoyed today's session. I just really, really want to encourage you to really consider how you present your artwork as well as the actual doing of your artwork, because it is so, that finish and that presentation is really, really amplifies and highlights your piece. So consider it and have a play with your stands as well as your art. And next week on Friday Live, I thought I would do a little bit of another series, I guess. And what I thought we'd do is look at what can you do with fabric for creating textured art. And so, of course, you can work 2-dimensionally or 3-dimensionally. We'll be having a look at different processes and techniques over the next few weeks with that question in mind. What can you do with fabric? So if you are connected with us on the Powtex Australia Creative Hub, maybe start dropping some examples of what you have done with fabric into the group there. And especially if it's creative and really outside of the square sort of stuff. And that's what I love, is exploring that sort of thing. So coming up next Friday, what can you do with fabric? And it will be a little bit of a series again. And then I've got some other special things planned. So stay tuned for that announcement. It's all going to be very, very exciting as we go on with the year. So, okay, so if you do love my teaching style, I have got some online courses at Ashley Hay Art Academy that you can tap into. And as I said, I'd like to do some oceanic ones so that some of these seahorse ones will actually be up on there as well. But to join me weekly, if you subscribe on the YouTube channel, hit the bell, you'll get notifications that I've gone live. And of course, as always, you can purchase any Powtex in Australia from powtex.com.au or from a trainer or supplier near you. So there's some wonderful workshops out there that you can tap into. I am also starting my workshops up again and planning some things for the next few months. So stay tuned for those. This weekend, I'm having a very small, intimate group of people in the studio to make a seahorse. It's a small, intimate group because I haven't really advertised it, so it's a bit of a surprise to everyone. If you are in Perth and you like the idea of joining me to make a seahorse, we'll be doing one side. We won't do two sides in the day, but I will basically show you all the techniques and tips and tricks and everything that you need to know to create a beautiful seahorse in the studio here with me. And so that will be some fun. So if you've missed that event, it is on the Facebook events page, and check out the information and the booking link there. All right, everyone. So don't forget that you can also connect with me personally on Facebook and Instagram at Ashley Hay Art. And that would be a really, really lovely. So wishing you all stay safe, Mariana. Thinking of you, Bag End Studio in Yaringapilly there in Brisbane, and all the creative workshops you've got planned for this weekend. Stay safe and have a wonderful creative weekend, and I will see you again next week. Ciao, everyone.